Evening, everyone. I would like to start the YouFab 2020 online award ceremony now. My name is Chiaki Shizuka, and I will be your facilitator today. Next to me is the interpreter, Mr. Ota. Initially, the plan was to hold the meeting in conjunction with the award-winning works annual exhibition. However, as you know, in light of the impact of the novel coronavirus, we will announce the winners in the form of the live broadcast on Fab Cafe TV. And the theme of this year, YouFab, was contactless by default. So in a way, I could say this contactless gathering precisely follows this theme. And I'm pleased to share this moment with all of you at time like this. So let's get started. Now I would like to introduce the guests joining online today. At first, I would like to introduce the Chief Judge, Mr. K. Wakabayashi. 若林さん、ちょっとカメラをオンにしていただけますか？で、ちょっと手を振ってください。Thank you,
Hello.
Mr. K. Wakabayashi.
Hi.
Hi. Next up, Miss Kampire Bahana, a jury member and DJ and activist. Today, she's joining from her home in Kampala, Uganda. Hi, Kampire.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Next is Miss Sayaka Ogawa, a jury member and cultural anthropologist. She's joining from Kyoto today. Hi.
Hi everyone.
Sayaka-san. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, one of the judges, Mr. Steve Titbo, couldn't join us for personal reasons. And next, I would like to introduce Mr. Isao Sato. Sato-sama. Hi.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm very happy to meet you today. Thank you.
Thank you. ありがとうございます。Mr. Sato, a judge from East Japan Railway Company, supported the New Year Prize. Thank you. And two other New Year judges, Mr. Yuki Kageyama.
はい、こんにちは。よろしくお願い
よろしく
します。
お願いします。And Chiaki Hayashi.
はい。
はい、あ
Nice
り
to
がと
meet
うございます。
ありがとうございます。
はい
よろしくお願いします。
And from the YouFab office, YouFab chairman, 俊谷福田。俊谷さんいらっしゃいますか？ OK。多分後で入ってくれるかな。Maybe he coming after. So, thank you very much. The winners will be introduced in order later. So, let's get right to it. This year, YouFab set the theme as contactless by default, and this year received 185 entries from 30 countries. I'd like to introduce the selected works chosen through a screening process. A finalist is 7 winners. So, at first, Plumial Space, Nesta Pestana. This work
Hi.
is prototype installation and wearable device that allows the audience to experience a simulation of a microbial eruption. So, hi Nesta.
Hello.
Yeah, could
I can speak a little bit about it.
Yeah, could you?
Well, so my name is Nestor Pestana. I am a guest lecturer at University of Applied Arts in Vienna and London College of Fashion. My practice explores world building and fiction. And I think this project kind of sits within those realms. Plumial Space was a collaboration with Deborah Chuchinov. We were collaborating at the time in the context of a residency that was hosted by Fashion Space Gallery at London College of Fashion in 2008 in London. So Deborah and we came across this article by a researcher at Yale University, Jack Kean, I think that's his name. And it was very intriguing to us because we were introduced to this idea that our bodies are constantly expelling bacteria. Even if we are static, we are constantly, expelling bacteria from our bodies. And this is due to the heat that our bodies produce. So the flows, all the bacteria that are on our bodies, they are released to the environment. But scientists are currently using this, this is called the microbial plume, and we are constantly leaving traces of it in our environment. And some scientists are using it actually to trace people, because this plume of microbes that we leave behind, they're like fingerprints, they're very unique to us. So we kind of like imagine what would happen if this sort of technologies were implemented by commercial purposes. And that's how Plumial Space was born. We imagined that in the future there will be groups of people that would dress in order to either hide or spread or exchange their microbial plumes. So we produce a series of fashion prototypes, wearable prototypes, and just to illustrate this kind of narratives within this future world. And alongside this, just to finalize, we also produce an animation, because back then, although nowadays we are very conscious of our microbial plumes, but back then in 2018, it was a very difficult concept to explain. And for that reason, we decided to make a projection, a particle projection, where people could actually interact with simulations of their microbial plumes without explaining too much into words.
Okay, thank you very much, Nesta.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, next finalist is BECV. Tomoya Ishibashi, Ryuji Yoshida, Kento Nikura. 石橋さん、
はい、こんばん
こん
は。
ばんは。ちょっと本当に手短になってしまうかもしれないんですけども、コメントをお願いできればと思います。Please, please comment one
OK。
30 minutes
すいません、日本語でいいですか？
はい、日本語で大丈夫
翻
です。
訳してもらえるとありがたいです。
はい
石橋です。普段、メディアアートとかサイエンスアートといった領域で、
This is Tomoya.
作家活動をしております。
I'm mainly working on media art and visual art. Science art, sorry.
この BCV っていう、オンラインエキシビジョン
So
は、
this piece, BCV, which is an online exhibition.
ここにも、Zoom の参加者で来てると思うんですけど、新倉健人君という AI エンジニアの、
It's a joint effort
エン
with
ジニアのこと、
few other people, including Nikura-san, which is online now.
去年の4月に、ギャラリーで個展をする予定だったんですけれども、それがコロナウイルスで中止になってしまったことをきっかけに始めたオンライン展示です。
Originally, we are to hold an exhibition, a physical exhibition, last April, but it didn't turn out to be because of the pandemic, and that was the beginning of this project.
こんなもんでいいですか？もうちょっと説明して。
大丈夫です。いつまでやるんでしたっけ、これは。
これはですね、そうです。会期と、トップのエンターエリアに特徴のあるオンライン展示です。
And then it's held online in a website, and there's a note at the beginning, at the top of the site, saying,
このエキシビジョンのエンターエリアは、日本でのコロナウイルスの感染者数の28日間のグラフを反映しています。
It's saying that basically the exhibition ends when actually it shows the past 28 days of infection trend in Japan, and then it would close when the pandemic is over.
感染者数が増えるとエンターエリアが大きくなって、感染者数が減るとエンターエリアが小さくなります。
If we have more infected people, we have larger entry area, and if we have fewer people infected, the entry area will be getting small.
そうですね。これ感染者数ゼロが28日以上続くと一応終わるという作品ですよね。
そうです。WHO が定めているパンデミックの収束の基準が28日間新規感染者数ゼロというもので、
recording zero infection, then that's the end of the exhibition as the end of a pandemic as defined by WHO.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
はい、congratulations. おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
はい。So next, finalists, Expand Fab, ひろきかいもとさん、おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Expand Fab is a new method of fabrication, which is the 3D printed objects made of a mix of two types of material will expand with heat. 一言受賞の喜び等をいただければと思います。
Thank you for choosing our project to the finalists. I'm Hiroki Kaimoto from, and now I'm PhD student. And this project is actually the team project, and it's my master project. This project is based on the material research and to make a 3D object, and it can expand with heat. So we think about this project is can make a new experience using the 3D object. Thank you. こんなもんでいいですか？ごめんなさい。
Thank you very much.
完璧です。
ありがとうございます。Congratulations.
Thank you.
はい。では、next finalists. Hand wash position sculptures. Joe Harrison Hall.
Hiya.
Hi, Joe.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this award ceremony and for selecting my work for the finalists for this competition. So the pieces that I submitted were actually, they're a series of hand wash position sculptures carved in soapstone and alabaster, and they're part of my graduate collection. I graduated from CSM in 2020, and my graduate collection was entitled Rinse and Repeat, and it was part of an examination into my own fears of contamination and how this fear was kind of affecting the way that I was interacting with the world around me. But it coincided with the rise of COVID-19. And so I think many people started to have this sensation and became aware of how the fear of contamination can affect our lives and how notions of cleanliness and dirt can affect the way that we interact with our spaces. And the pieces that I submitted to this award ceremony are a series of sculptures that when you interact with them, they gently place your hands in the specific hand wash positions that we've been told to adopt to protect ourselves from germs. And they're very sort of tactile and calming, and they can help sort of, as well as being a guide to us to sort of adopt these hand wash positions, they also help to soothe our fears by providing like tactile stimulus that can sort of ground us back into our senses and away from our intense fear of contamination. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, today Steve Titbo, one of jury, cannot coming today, but he very likes
We
your
love it.
works. So
Thank you so much. Thank you.
yeah, congratulations. So next finalist, Bay Touch of Joy, Frederick.
Yes, hi.
Can you explain about this?
Yeah,
Just,
I sure can. First and foremost, this was a group project. Me and my friends, my teammates in the Royal College of Art and Imperial College. So thank you for picking our project as one of the finalists. Well, Bay is actually a project that links premature babies with their parents. So when the babies move within the NICU or the incubator, what the product actually does is transfers touch to parents. So this helps parents be close to their babies and reminds them of the wonderful times when the mother and the father can feel the baby's kick or movements when they're in the mother's tummy. So we hope by building such products, we can bridge the gap between parents and neonatals in the future. Thank you very much.
thank you very much, and congratulations. So next finalist, Body Talk, Nathalie Jabbat.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you very much for picking my work and for the invitation. I'm a media artist from Bremen, Germany, and this work is an installation with a actually very simple task. The sensors on the table translate the heartbeat of the person to a light signal that is above the table, and two persons sit in front of each other, and usually you can only see the or feel the heartbeat of someone else if you're very close. And with this installation, I tried to make it visible and show it without touching, but still create an atmosphere of intimacy, where two persons sit in front of each other and see each other's reaction. And sometimes the heartbeat will change its pace from this.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So next finalist is Contact 4, Francesca Deer.
Hi, my
Hi.
name is Francesca. Hi. So I am a product design student at Napier in Edinburgh, Scotland, and our lecturers asked us to have a look at the Contactless by default brief for one of our projects. And when I started thinking about how the pandemic has affected us and how it's changed our everyday lives, and how we're protecting our physical health, our mental health, and all the suggestions, I felt a little bit of a lack of information and suggestion around sexual health. So in fact, actually, the Canadian Chief Public Health Officer answered a question very briefly about it by simply saying, you know, it's important, maybe just have sex with your mask on, and it was never really brought up again. And so I thought that this issue could be explored a little bit more creatively, a little bit less taboo. So Contactful is it's a pair of adult toys that connect to each other through an app. And the idea is that when you put an input like squeeze or move one of them, the other one responds. And then the app has suggestions for date nights or communication and relationship advice. So it's a modern way of dealing with something that's really important for, you know, being a human and having relationships, but in a less taboo way, because it doesn't necessarily look exactly like anatomically correct, which isn't necessary. So it's something I wanted that if you accidentally left it out and someone came over, you know, after the pandemic, it wouldn't be embarrassing. It would be something normal. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much again for inviting me and selecting my project. It's been very exciting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So these were the 7 finalists' works. I think all of them have presented various ideas for contactless by default. Congratulations, all the finalists. So next, let's introduce the winning entries. First one is student prize. Student prize is Windows. Junshu Xiao Sherry. Hi, Xiao.
Hi, you can call me Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry. Okay. This work is a proposal for communication through Windows in an isolated life in the big city. Is that okay?
Yeah, it is okay. It's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about this work?
Okay, all right. Hi everyone, I'm Sherry and I'm a student from Parsons School of Design at New York City. First of all, I want to thanks for all the staff from YouFab 2020 committee for supporting all the makers and artists across the world to present our work during the pandemic. As we know, it is a difficult time for the entire human race. Bones are left without saying, but it is also a time to highlight the brilliance in humanity. The inspiration from my project is people who possess the most sincere hope for living happily after the pandemic, despite the numerous challenges brought by the virus. And in this project, I use Windows as the communication tool because gazing through them became an action that many of us took to reach the outside world during quarantine. And I want to convey warmth and coverage to whomever feel isolated from the world by knocking at their windows and showing them the possibility to feel the telepresence of each other on the transparent square. And I'm much honored to be given the chance to showcase my project to the global audience because of the pandemic, the exhibition at my school has closed and I can only showcase it through the online exhibition. And I hope this time-specific project could heal the wounds and unite us together. And thanks again.
Thank you very much. So, 小川さん、さやかさん、
はい、OK です。
はい。Could you give us some comments for the Sherry?
Okay. Hi, Sherry. Congratulations on winning the Student Award. Sherry Shaw's window distinguishes itself from other entries exploring the world with after COVID-19 by pursuing the possibility of physical multimodal communication via a simple window. Here, a window, a simple glass object that separates two spaces, is transformed to a symbol of hope under the COVID-19. When I first saw this work, I thought it was very romantic and perfect for a student award. When you consider the fact that romance and drama and romance and aspiration have been assigned to window in cultural history, as has been seen in a romantic novel and drama such as Romeo and Juliet, comics and movie in which, for example, throwing a small stone on the window glass or using a secret sign via a window to talk with a friend in the room. Why don't you sneak out of the house? When I was a child, I did same thing with my best friend. This work is a much model update of such fun to fit the ongoing pandemic situation. As you know, in a pandemic, we are isolated in the house. As a result, many people are suffering from a feeling of loneliness. This work asks whether such feeling of loneliness can really be resolved through online communication. Therefore, the thematic scope of this work goes well beyond the pandemic. Solidarity has been a global issue within the modern society for decades, which due mainly to urbanization and virtualization. In an urban society, it is not strange not to know the face of neighbors. When disaster strikes, the importance of physical community is suddenly called out, which means that many of us are losing the community that we can rely on in an emergency. There are a great number of social recluses, in Japanese, hikikomori, in contemporary world, who are aware of necessity to reconstruct actual social bonds, but do not know how to take a step toward the society. Online communication increasing in pandemic may alleviate their anxiety, but they are still alienated from the real world. In a virtual space, although the abundant presence of other avatars, people are apt to be disconnected. We often feel lonely on social media, even though we communicate with many people. Social media have also caused an echo chamber phenomenon in which one belief are amplified as if they were natural by communicating only with people who have the same set of values. In fact, in internet society, there are serious social division. Window may give a solution to such modern issues by its simplicity, creativity, and amusement by enabling people to be together while still being alone. It can provide relief to individuals and strengthen social bonds in the physical world. For above mentioned reason, the committee is proud to give the Student Award to Sherry Shaw's Window, which is simple yet strong work of art responding to the COVID-19 and yet not limited to its duration. Thank you.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much. Thank you, Ogawa-san and Sherry. Congratulations again.
Congratulations.
So, next, I would like to introduce the winners of the special prize. This year, YouFab special prize named New Year Prize is part of the New Year project, which is jointly run by East Japan Railway Company and the Mobility Transformation consortium and Loftwork. The theme was new possibilities for mobility in coronation. So special prize is City Glider, next gen footwear. Poor Wei Kwang Frederick. So Frederick coming again.
Hi,
Hi.
thanks for having me again. I'm really happy that the new HERE Prize has recognized my project, City Glider. Yeah, would you like me to just give a very quick explanation about the project?
Of course.
Okay, so well, City Glider is actually a pair of footwear that augments walking by extending your the distance covered with every step that you take. So the how this idea came about was I'm actually a mobility designer before I went to the Royal College of Art and Imperial College, and I'm always fascinated about mobility. So I'm always thinking about it. And usually when we talk about mobility, we think about cars, planes, motorcycles, bicycles. But I start to realize that whatever transport you take, you still have to use your feet. That's the fundamentals of getting around from point A to point B. So the question started out, what if I could design something that actually augments and help us walk more efficiently? So therefore, I created a pair of footwear that uses the force expended from your heel strike to propel you forward with every step. So once again, thank you for picking my design for the new HERE Prize. It's a real honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frederick. So, Mr. Sato, can you give us some comments for this work?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Billion
perfect.
Boskuri. Okay, thank you. So congratulations, Mr. Frederick Burr. I'd like to call you Frederick, right?
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations, Frederick. I'm very happy to meet you today. And it's a great opportunity for me to meet you today and present this prize for you. And we've picked up your idea, very innovative goods, City Glider, and we called these shoes moving shoes in Japan. We called it moving shoes, City Gliders equal moving shoes. And as you know, because of COVID-19, because of this pandemic, people cannot go out freely, and people have to stay at home silently. I'm very sad. But with these shoes, people can go out and people can move freely in a city, not only in urban area, but rural areas. So it's a very important and effective idea, not only in Japan, but all over the world. Thank you so much. And I have one question to Mr. Frederick, okay? I want to buy these shoes, and my footwear size is 26 centimeters. And my question is, where can I buy these shoes? Nike store or Amazon or any other kind of store? And how much is this? I want these shoes. Okay, Frederick, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Isao. Well, it's still under development, but I would definitely give you a shout out the minute the product is available.
Thank you, Frederick.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chiaki-san, Chiaki Hayashi-san, could you give us some comments for Frederick's work?
Yeah. じゃあ日本語でお願いします。
Yes, of course.
太田さん、通訳お願いします。まずフレデリックおめでとうございます。
Frederick, congratulations.
コロナウイルスの影響は、実は今朝あった JR 東日本が主催するモビリティ変革コンソーシアムでも問題提起されたほど、世界に改めてその生活の価値観とか、移動の価値観を問い直すことになっていると思います。
So the pandemic totally changed our perception of what mobility would be or how we lead our normal life, as it has been a main topic of the Mobility Transformation Consortium she is part of. They had a meeting today.
で、コロナになって歩くことっていうのは単なる移動のための意識しないことから、歩くことが喜びだったんだ、歩くことが気持ちよかったんだ、そのことに初めて人は気がついたと思います。
And I believe because of the pandemic, people's perception of the act of walking transformed from something that you usually do not aware of, but you now feel that walking feels good. Walking is a very good thing, and that's thanks to the pandemic.
で、なのでシティグライダーがもっと歩くことがより効率よく歩けて、もっと、距離を歩けるようになったら、そんなことを想像させてくれる、なんていうのかな、希望に満ちた作品なんだなということに、改めてアワードの時に気づきました。
Your piece, City Grider, is something that, how do I say, let her imagine the future about walking becoming more efficient and more fun. And that kind of future, she can think of it because of this piece. And that's a very good thing.
でも子どもたちはとっくにコロナになる前から靴にいろんなローラーをつけて走れるような靴だったり、そういうことをやってたので、考えてみれば大人も子供に帰るんだなというふうにも思いました。
But then again, all the kids, they love to sort of decorate their shoes with like wings and stones and everything to make walking, the act of walking, more enjoyable. It's not a new thing to those kids. So in a way that this piece sort of reminded me of that joy to us grown-ups, and enjoy sort of reconsider that value again.
そんな素敵なそういうことを考えさせてくれる、子供が未来を作ってるんだなっていうことも、気がつかせてくれる素敵な作品をどうもありがとうございました。
In a way that it taught me that kids are forming the future, and then that's very. I'm very appreciative of this piece because it helped me remind those concepts. Thank you, and congratulations. ごめんなさい。
Thank you very much, Chiaki-san. And congratulations, Frederick, again. Frederick will receive a certificate and prize money from us. So, congratulations. Next is a special prize honorable mention. SOS Solution of School Urban Plugged In. This work is not selected for the New Year Prize, but it remained in discussion until the end of the screening. Unfortunately, the winners are not able to participate today, but Kageyama-san, Mr. Kageyama, could you give us some comment for this work? 日本語で大丈夫です。
はい、ありがとうございます。ウーさん、今回おめでとうございました。 今回議論の中で、面白いなと思ったところがですね、やっぱりコロナウイルスの影響によって、やっぱり僕たち都市に暮らしている人間が気づいたのは、そもそもその自分たちが住んでいる街にどんな人が住んでいるかっていうのが実はあまり見えなくて、オンラインであらゆることが解決していたのは実はコロナ前から変わってなかったんじゃないかなっていうふうに思ってます。
So during the discussion amongst the juries, we sort of got reminded of by this piece that we all living in urban settings, but we haven't been paying attention to the who are surrounding us, what kind of people we are living all together in urban environment. And then that sort of, has, because the moving towards the communication being moved to online based doesn't actually help to get to know actual people around you. It kind of sort of, it doesn't make the situation any different now.
そんな時にですね、コロナになってより家から出なくなって、より例えば街のそういったいろいろなお祭りであるとか、コミュニティが出入りする場所に行く機会が余計に減ってしまったっていうのが。
In that, because we are all isolated and connected only through the online connection, so we are getting out much less, and then we have much lesser few opportunity to get connected to the society or community, local community.
そんな時にやっぱりその公共空間が非常に活用しがいがあるなと思っていて、例えば街の、公園の中にですね、こういった子どもたちが遊べるスペース、あるいはそれを学校にしてしまう、とかですね、例えば、子どもたちの遊んでいる風景であるとか、あるいはその大人たちがそれを見守っているとか、今まで見えてこなかった近隣に住んでいる人たちのコミュニティ、ですよね、が可視化されるようなものになっていて、非常に面白いなというふうに思いました。
But this work has a potential to sort of reunite people using the public space, and then people get to watch kids gathering and playing together, or all the people from the neighborhood come together and then communicate to each other. Those kind of rediscovery of local community is very valuable in the future, especially under the pandemic situation.
なのでおめでとうございますということで。
Congratulations.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kageyama-san, and congratulations, Sherry Shao. Next, now it's time to announce the first prize. Sorry, my pronunciation is not good, but try to say. Cartes des silence. Paris habitual confiné. Sorry. Clemens Altabegoiti. Hello, Clemens.
Hi.
Sorry, my pronunciation.
No worries. Really no worries. So my name is Clémence Altabegoiti. I'm a designer and visual artist based in Paris. So firstly, I wanted to thank the whole YouFab creative team and the judges for awarding my work. It is very much of an honor for me to receive this prize. So through my practice, I aim to create visuals, objects, and spaces by using contextual analysis and material unique properties in order to think critically ecological matters, such as in today's case, noise pollution. So I'll be taking you some insight of my project, which I'll pronounce Carte des silences, Paris habituel et confiné, which actually means silences map, Paris usual and confined, while showing the video of the work. So to introduce it, to introduce it, sorry. This project is a series of moving maps showing the noise pollution and silent places in 5 different locations in Paris and in its suburbs. And it compares the data from the year 2019 and during the first lockdown of 2020. So if you can please put the video on.
Okay. Now I'm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the video embeds a variation of 8 different levels from underneath 45 decibel, which is in black, till above 75, which is in white. This project is a work in progress. It is part of a research on silence that I started in 2018. At the time, I was actually coming back from a travel in Japan, and I got to be interested in notions of void, emptiness, and silence, and how it materializes itself in visual cultures. I then came across the work of Joseph Beuys and John Cage on silence and got more and more fascinated by the hearing sense and its environmental issues. So indeed, noise pollution is a crucial environmental problem for both humans and non-humans. And as most metropolises, as you might confirm this also in Tokyo, Paris is a city where the silence is rare. The decibel levels in most Paris public spaces are far above the World Health Organization guideline, which has an impact on health, both psychological and physical, and it generates also inequalities in terms of exposure. So one of the things I've realized in this research is probably the paradoxes of a quest for silence. I visited an anechoic chamber back in 2018 at the Institute for Research and Acoustic Coordination, IRCAM. And if you have the chance to visit one day, it is quite an experience. I know that there is one in Tokyo. So it is a space designed so that there is no echo at all, but you can still hear your heartbeat and your nervous system. And John Cage wrote after visiting one that there is no such thing as an empty space or an empty time. There is always something to see or something to hear. Therefore, the black zones on the map are actually referencing to the 45 decibels, which is the threshold that what is underneath is considered as a quiet soundscape, according to the scientific community. So the data from this video are gathered by Paris, which is an institute that I'm collaborating with. And we work together with the data scientist Pierre Jamard, which actually might be listening to us now. And then after a lot of 3D modeling experimentation with my friend Florent Quintus, we mapped the sound by associating each average decibel level to the localized corresponding sound. And then the maps were born. So this video specifically is a new step in this research because of the strong decrease of traffic during the lockdown of spring 2020 in Paris. The possible quietness of the city is what I wanted to capture in this mapping project. And despite the difficult event of the lockdown, the reduction of noise had a largely positive impact on people's mental health, which is based on a study from the Observatory of the Sound Environment, Acousité. So as silence is immaterial, by mapping the sound and their intensity to the position of their emission, this project aims to show the specialization of noise pollution and therefore reveals the silent places in the city and its surroundings. And I hopefully would like to continue this project in different places in the future. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chiaki, and I think the video was not shown in the video in monitor.
Already.
I think. Can you see?
Okay.
Clemence,
can you see the video?
I actually see what is on Zoom, so
千秋ちゃん、クレマンスがビデオを映したかったんじゃないのずっと。だけどビデオ映ってないけど。
てなかった。
映ってないよ。
At least it's on YouTube. That was.
まあ、配信の方には行ってたみたいで、ちょっと皆さん、今入ってる皆さんにはちょっと見えてなかったかもしれないです。ごめんなさい。
I see. So it was YouTube on the YouTube.
配信の方では、はい。
It's on the broadcast.
But on the Zoom, there wasn't. But it's.
Okay.
I see. But it's okay. So.
In any case, the video is on Vimeo now, and you can find it on the YouFab website.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
お客さんありがとうございます。
So, okay. I'd like to ask to compare. Can you give us some comments for the Clemens work?
Yes, hi everyone once again, and congratulations to Clemence for her project and her prize. Speaking as one of the judges, I don't come from a design background, and I come from a very different context from many of the entrants coming from Uganda. So I was particularly interested in the YouFab entries that sort of cross context and are relevant to people from very many different areas. I don't know if I should break for translation or just keep going.
No, you don't have to stop for translation. It's the event is entirely in English.
Yes, so I was very interested in the entries that sort of cross context, and also for the entrants who considered how their work interacts with capitalism, given that I think globally we're at a bit of a crisis point. So I was particularly taken by Clemence's project because I think the issue of noise pollution is something that affects many of us in many urban areas across the world. And I particularly liked the idea of visualizing one of our other senses. So it's a bit of a synesthetic project in that it takes what we hear and sort of presents it as a map. And many of us have become very familiar with maps in the past 10 years due to the rise of Google Maps and other similar websites. So it was particularly meaningful, I think, to see something that's happening around us be visualized as a map. So as I said, congratulations to Clemence for a great project, which, if I understand correctly, had begun several years ago in 2018, but has become particularly relevant due to the pandemic. And if I have a moment for a question for Clemence, I'd be excited to hear what her future plans are for the project and how she sees the work evolving over the next few years.
Yeah, thank you so much for your comments first, Vampire. And about the continuation of the project, actually, I would like to work, because I'm working with a specific institute which gathered data in Paris, but I would like to actually expand it and use it in, work with different institutions in other places in the world to be able to make the project growing, and not only in Paris, because I think then the second step would be to open it up to the public of those places, because I think the important part is also to share this information so that people are actually aware of where the silence is in their city, but also how it evolves through time, and how noise pollution actually affects their health.
Okay, thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you.
The first prize winner, Clemence, will receive this trophy can you this one sculpted by contemporary artist Kohenawa. So maybe you can see this real.
Can you see the trophy? It's very.
こちらの本物は、おそらく1ヶ月ぐらい
It's gonna
後
be
にはなると
shipped
思
to
います
you.
が、
Probably take a month or so, but please be patient.
の手元に届くと思います。
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Clemens, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So, I would like to introduce grand prize. The grand prize winner is Scarlett Young, Decomposition of Materiality. Scarlett. Hi, Scarlett.
Hello, hi.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Could you explain your artwork? Oh, it's mute.
Yeah, okay. Can you see?
Yes, perfect.
Screen? Okay, cool. So yeah, first of all, thank you so much for this award. Really, yeah, I think I don't know where to start, but again, thank you so much. I guess yeah, I can explain a bit about this the details of this project. So the name Decomposition of Materiality. This is a project I've done for my graduate project from my degree at Central St Martin's in London, UK, last year, 2020. So for this project, I was really, speculating to see how we can create a this simulated ecosystem where fashion garments, or as a product itself, it's not only by itself, it's also influenced by the surrounding environment. So I was really looking into how we can really celebrate this beauty of natural life form through combining nature and technology. Yeah, because I come from a fashion background, so that's so then I was gradually gained my interest in seeing how technology can join forces with fashion design to be able to create more of a accessible, inclusive, sustainable future for all of us. So while I was working in the studio, I realized the physical traditional way of making the fashion garment, the clothes, or even any other accessories are quite wasteful. They're not recyclable, and there are a lot of waste generated within this prototyping design process. So, as a designer, I started to really think about, speculating the core of design in general, really, and the materials of that. So as a result, this project kind of opens up this discussion between, say, how important it is for fashion and science to collaborate, or fashion, textile, and science. Yeah, and I was really lucky to be able to be supported by a few biolabs and digital fabrication labs around the world that really helped me. So yeah, this was what I was developing within this project. I developed this generative design method, and this allows designers to kind of experiment remotely on their laptop with low cost on simulating the models, and to test new approaches to explore, what if scenarios within this digital design context. And in my case, it was to design the outcome of a fashion garment. And this was all done before taking any physical design decisions. So it really eliminates that waste while being contactless. And it was really particularly useful in the case of, the global pandemic right now, that how this is quite a necessity, and when even beyond the pandemic, it has still been proved to be very useful in the case of iterating how we can improve the sustainability design strategies. So in this way, I produce this collection of garments that sometimes it's fully contactless when you access it digitally through, say, filters or a CGI, computer game simulation. And sometimes it's also extremely responsive and sensitive to the environment when it's accessed in a physical form, because I also produce the physical outcome. But then during the pandemic, the only way for me to showcase it is through a digital online showroom. So then it's in itself contactless and at the same time reducing waste, and it's accessible for all the audience around the world to be able to to know about this concept. So it's almost like these pieces have like a full life on their own without even being physically worn. So I guess this project really, I really wanted to push this idea further to really show that, because these products, they can decompose without incorporating any, say, petrochemical plastic ingredients. So that also means they cannot exist permanently in what they are. So it goes back again to the concept of actually nothing really stays forever. It's so transient that we need to really cherish what we have now. And it also reflects back to, this whole and the social climate of what we're in now. So yeah, thanks again for the YouFab community. And this was my project.
Thank you very much, Scarlett. So wonderful project. And also, Steve will also say for your artwork is very futuristic, and that work have big potential. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
And so Mr. Wakabayashi, can you give us some comments for Scarlett?
Yeah, congratulations, Scarlett. And we're so honored to have you as a grand prize for this year's YouFab award. And we actually had a pretty interesting process during deciding the grand prize. And the Scarlett's work was, it was really, aesthetically beautiful, and the design was great. But at first we thought this was just a concept. So we had to go through checking out if it's really feasible or not. And Steve found out a paper and found out that this is feasible. And so Steve got so excited, and he said that he wanted to contact you right away. And the thing that we sort of this piece attracted us the most is that throughout this year's discussion with the juries, it was really interesting that to find out that after the pandemic, what we took for granted, we had to sort of look carefully over our surroundings. I mean, and we tend to think that the space that surrounds us
was like transparent, and maybe we tend to think that it's kind of a vacuum, but pandemic and coronavirus made us aware that it's not. So we have like so this year's the pieces that were submitted, mostly it was really interesting to find out that made us sort of aware that we haven't been aware for a long time. And say it's like we take it for granted about the sound that we're surrounded, or maybe the bacteria, or like so and in that sense, in Scarlett's work, we're always surrounded by things, but we tend to think that this is normal, but what Steve pointed out in our discussion is that after the world has globalized, it's those things that constantly moves around, and these connectivity are not just people, it's through things that we connect to people. But also what pandemic showed was that these things that we export, import, it could be the sort of carrier for the virus. Maybe not with the coronavirus, but it's a kind of a medium that connects us. So, and one thing that's, for me, what Scarlett's work has showed us is that the notion that how globalization has connected us through things, but it's a good thing in one way, but after this situation with coronavirus, maybe we have to think about it once again. So, and that brings us to the sort of the origin of this award, which is like digital fabrication. And I think one of the important thing about digital fabrication is that you don't have to move around things. You build it locally and you consume it locally, and that's something that we need to think about, and not just move things around, but to sort of generate products locally and consume it locally. So in that sense, I think Scarlett's work has brought us back to the sort of like the sort of origin of what YouFab Award stands. So yeah, it was really honor for us to be presenting you to this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wakabayashi-san.
But did you get a contact from Steve, Scarlett? No?
I think not yet, but
Okay. He must be busy.
Maybe soon.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe soon. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Wakabayashi-san and Scarlett, and congratulations again. Scarlett will receive this trophy. Can you show? Yeah, this one.
so nice. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. All of the works present, there's unique point of view of due to this year's theme, Contactless by Default. Being able to learn from these diverse points of view side by side is in itself a variable experience. It can give us hints on how we should deal with the pandemic situation. So thank you very much, all of the winners. So we would like to take 5 minutes break now. So please come back 5 minutes later. After 5 minutes break, we would like to talk with juries and winners. So let's break. So come back, everyone. So let's get started the talk session. So 若林さんいらっしゃいますか？いらっしゃるかな？ Just one moment. So I would like to start the talk session with juries and winners. So can you show the slides? Okay. This is Chief Judge Wakabayashi-san's comment. I will take a short text. The protagonist was not a person, but rather the distance between people or the ma. Ma is Japanese. This a little bit difficult to.
Ma is something that sits in between of the two people or more, many people. As Wakabayashi-san described, it's like a medium that transmits information or emotion to other people during the community.
で、ちょっとここで日本語私も挟みつつすみません、失礼しますが。
I had to add, I had to add one more thing about the concept of ma. The ma includes, the spatial meaning, but also the concept of time. So when you say your ma is bad, it means that you're out of tempo. So ma is like both, it has like
temporal and spatial meaning.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
So given that, you would like to have those judges to sort of, give us a comment or your view on this year's theme, contactless by default. Can any of the judges be present? Raise your hand or just be upfront and speak about it.
僕から行きましょうか。
Yes.
Wonderful.
若林です。ちょっともう疲れた。日本語で行きます。Sorry.
Wakabayashi will be talk by Japanese.
Yeah, sorry. コンタクトレスバイデフォルトってテーマをつけたのは私でございまして。
So I'm the one who came up with the theme contactless by default.
で、その時につけた時に考えてたのはあんまり何も考えてなかった。
At the time, I wasn't giving it too much thought.
実は。
To be honest with you.
で、おそらく今回割と求めていたというか考えていたのはさっきも言ったようにやっぱり例えば今まで普通に過ごしていた空間だったり時間っていうのが急に普段いつも通りに動けないっていう風になった時に今まで意識してこなかったことっていうものをいろいろ見出すことになるわけですよね。
So back then, at the time, what I was expecting out of this theme was that the fact that something we have all taken for granted for a long time has changed by pandemic, and that would have resulted in some difference which we were not aware of. That tells me something we haven't been aware of, and then we become aware of something different just because of the fact.
で、まあ、例えばその Zoom の会議ばっかりやるようになって、人んちの壁と天井の隅っこのところやたら見ることになったりするわけじゃないですか。
For example, as we have many more like Zoom meeting sessions like this, experience through it, and we sort of we start to sort of notice some other people's home and its wall and ceilings and how it looks, and it's not tidied up and stuff like those small things that we didn't have any access to it are now revealed in front of us. That kind of change.
まあそういう中でなんか、まあ、こういう状況になったことで新たになんか自分たちの環境に対して新しい視点で目が向けられるっていう。
Meaning that this transformation sort of affect our awareness of our surroundings.
なのでなんかそういう新しい気づきみたいなものっていうのがたくさん送られてくるといいなっていうふうに。
So the original expectation was sort of those expecting to receive those different point of views because of those situations being transformed our day-to-day life. That was the original expectation.
なんで窓とかっていうのもあんまりちゃんと考えたことなかったけど、窓ねみたいなことってあるわけじゃないですか。だからなんかそういうことがいっぱい見れたっていうのが今回はなので僕としては非常になんて言うんだろうな、学びが多かったですね。
So in that sense, like the project like Window, that sort of taught him how to take a different look at the window as he has known, and that was like a new discovery to him, to us, and that was a very good thing.
Thank you very much, Wakabayashi-san.
Hi.
So I'd like to ask other judges.
If any of you have any comment, please speak up. Turn your camera on, maybe. Oh, Kampire.
Kampire, thank you.
Are you asking us to comment on the
overall
theme, or?
Theme, and then how you received all those applications?
Okay. Well, I think that there was an inevitability to the theme of contactless, given the timing of the awards. I think the application for entries came at a time when all of our lives were moving from the physical to the digital. So I think it was a perfect opportunity for many of the artists and designers who applied to really interrogate what we're going through right now. But also, I think it's important at such a time of great change for us to carry the lessons that we've taken from the pandemic and to carry them forward and to use this time, I guess, to address some of the issues that have been brought up by the pandemic. So I think that's where many of the entries were the most successful. It's not just about, given the time frame between the entries and the judging, many things had changed about the pandemic, about the lockdown in our various contexts. So I think the most successful entries were the ones that considered the issues of contactless, but how they apply to our lives beyond the pandemic. And I think those were the entries that were, I think, the most meaningful and impactful, given the speed at which everything has been changing this year. Yes, so I think that it was really, like I said, a perfect opportunity to interrogate some of these issues. Like, for example, the fact that we're having, this award ceremony online, so much of our work has moved online. It's really important for us to consider how this is going to change our lives permanently. And I think that's reflected in the winners and the entrants from the competition this year.
Thank you very much, Kampire. I would like to ask you do you have some sorry, ちょっと Japanese. 今の話の中でもうその、記憶に残っている、今のコンタクトレスだったりとかっていう部分に関して、特に、記憶に残っている作品。
So in relation to what you have just said, is there any particular piece of work that impressed you the most amongst those winners?
Well, I don't want to pick favorites at this point, but I do believe that the grand prize winner, Scarlett's project on decomposition of materiality, I think had a big impact on all of us. For me, it brought to mind my own situation here in Kampala, where issues of plastic waste is a very big issue. Issues of secondhand clothes is a very big issue in East Africa. So I immediately was drawn to the project and to seeing how it applies, across very many different contexts. I assume later I'll have an opportunity to ask Scarlett a couple of questions because I am still very interested to hear from her around that. But I think that's all I'll say for now.
Yeah, we make sure it happens. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kampire.
Thank you very much.
小川さん、
はい。
ありそうでしょうか。
I think many of the entry were looking for the way to overcome the corona situation by using the power of digital and internet. Of course, the technology has brought us new possibilities, but I think there are plus and the negative positive and negative aspect with new technology. So I like the more critical how can I say perspective against the using the new technology. So then I selected the Windows and also the materiality is also as Kampire said. I also investigated the second-hand clothing circulation, global second-hand clothing circulation in Africa and in the world. And also the materiality is very ambivalent and more the impact to the different areas. So then I love very much the materiality and by the work by Scarlett. And how can I say? I'm very tired, so can I switch to Japanese?
Of course.
And ちょっとそのもっとなんていうのかな、なんかこう簡単なコンタクトレスな社会に関するアプローチとして、今ある方法を使いつつ、しかしなんかそれに対してもうちょっとこうクリティカルな視座みたいなものを持つ作品っていうのが結構審査員の中では興味を持たれたんじゃないかなっていうふうに思います。
So overall, I think that the works that sort of takes into account the current sort of system or the current structure, but takes in some refreshing new creative ideas to change it, were in generally appreciated amongst those applicants.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 小川さん、Thank you very much.
小川さんもありがとうございます。じゃあ、
スカーレットに質問ですね。
じゃあ、もし他に言う人がいないんだったら、私も一言
どうぞお
言っても
願いいたします。
お願いします。
このアワードは、コンタクトレスバイデフォルトっていうのが設定されて、普通のアートアワードだったら、こう過去何年間か遡って当てはまるものをいくつも応募できたと思うんだけど、今回のアワードは少なくとも多くの作品が1年以内に作られたものだったんじゃないのかなというふうに私は思ってます。
So Chiaki-san thinks that, so looking at all those works during the course of selecting the winning works, she has an impression that unlike any of the YouFab award in the past, this time, because of its theme, it's very specific, it's contactless, and then it must have been very hard to, actually, you have to think about it, something that you never thought of before. Therefore, this year around, most of the people who applied came up with the idea in the last year, not just, it's accumulation of all those existing work and just, shove it to the prize. So in that sense, it was very special.
で、それにもだから私は最初応募が少ないんじゃないかなというふうに思ってい
So
まし
that's
た。
why she expected much fewer application we will receive for this time of the year.
でも現実にはもう本当に去年と同等のしかも力のある作品がいっぱい送られてきたこと
But
に
it turned out to be
感謝
that
し
we received as many or about the same number of application, and then each of them are very, very strong.
なので本当に応募者の人ありがとうございます。
And we thank for all those applied for the award.
で、一つだけ残念なことは
If there's one thing that I must say is regrettable,
授賞式、今日の授賞式にカンピレに DJ をしてもらっ
we
てみ
really,
んなで
really
踊りた
wanted
かっ
to
た。
invite Computer here and then have her play her music and we danced together in the same room, but we couldn't do that this time.
それはすごい
It's
残念
very
なこと。
regrettable.
でも来年またチャンスを狙いたいと思うので、カンピレぜひ来年もまたよろしくっていうか、ぜひYouFabだけじゃなくて何かロフトワークでチャンスを狙って日本に呼び
But
た
she
いと思
hasn't
う。
given
その
up
は
and
みんな
she
で踊
will
り
think of something organized by, if not, YouFab, but something that Fab Lab, Fab Cafe thinks of. We make sure that that kind of event will happen and we will eventually invite Campire over to Tokyo. So please say yes when it happens.
Thank you very much,
For sure.
Chiaki-san.
カンピレどう
Campire,
Compare.
are you in?
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Wonderful.
I would love that.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and then I believe Campire has a couple of questions to Scarlett. Scarlett さんですよね。
Yes, a quick one, Scarlett, if you can talk a bit more about the
Please go ahead. Scarlett, are you on? Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I missed a little bit of what.
So Campire has a couple of questions to you, specific to you.
Yes, Scarlett, my questions are around the future of your project and your collaborations with, I guess, other product designers to make it a reality.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been working on, the how to say the continuation for this project. Yeah, ever since I've completed the showroom. showcase. Yeah, there are a few directions I'm currently doing because it's I would say it's quite a complex concept to begin with. So there was the biomaterial part, the digital part, right? The implementation and the market segment part also. So all of them, I've so separately I'm collaborating with some scientists, biologists, engineers, and also organizations and incubators to help me realize this quite a grand, ambitious.
Computer?
Sorry, I'm just having a connection issue. Maybe you can come back to me.
Meaning that Scarlett needs to repeat herself
Okay, sure.
again?
So,
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead.
Could you reiterate, again, please? Yeah, Scarlett.
Okay.
The continuation
Oh,
of
wow.
your work.
So basically, because at the start it was quite a complex idea, so there was many different small branches of directions involved, like the physical part, the biomaterial part of this project, and I am collaborating with the material scientist and biologist in Imperial College London. So, and also with the help of like a startup incubator, we're trying to push this forward to see how we can really implement this innovation as products into the market. And also the digital part as well, collaborating more also with the artistic visual art industry side of pushing forward to see how we can use this generative technology for virtual digital fashion commodities. That was also in investigations. Yeah.
Computer, did you get it? Did you get your answer?
I did. Thank you so much, Scarlett.
Thank you, Scarlett.
Thank you, Scarlett. So, next I would like to ask for the winners. If you have any episodes where you found something new and creative in your life during this pandemic contactless situation, could you please share with us? If somebody have, please turn on.
If we're asking any of the winners if you have some episode to share with regard to contactless situation. Maybe could be related to your submit work, or it doesn't really have to be that.
Clemens.
So not a project that started specifically from the lockdown and this very specific year, but I think there was, as in any crisis, there is, I think, a lot to learn from it. And I think what we've seen, like specifically related to the ecological impacts of this year regarding how the city changed in terms of air pollution, noise pollution, but also all the images we've seen from like animals taking back their own spaces, but also like how a certain economy became more like localized, and I don't know how, like what's gonna happen in the future, but I think like in terms of ecology, because we talk so less about it at the moment, I think there is a lot actually to learn from this year. And yeah, that's just a little note I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Clemens.
Thank you.
Anyone else? How about Francesca? Hi.
I think there's been a lot of different experiences. Like for me, I work from home. I started my university degree, like I went back to university, and I don't think that I would have taken the time to consider doing that if there wasn't a pandemic. I think that it really stopped me in my tracks and made me think, what do I want to do with my future? Because we had all this extra time sitting alone in your house. And so I feel conflicted a bit about the crisis, because on one hand, if it didn't happen, I'm not sure that I would be here today. I'm not sure I would have obviously had the opportunity to do this amazing project. But at the same time, it's been a really big struggle working from home, getting support for creative projects. I don't know about the other winners, but I find that the lack of a studio environment, lots of other creatives, has been so far a little bit difficult to replicate on Zoom. You know, we're trying our best, but I'm really looking forward to getting back to a space where you can touch and feel and see other people's projects. So yeah, kind of mixed feelings about what's happening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh,
Yeah,
Joe?
I mean, I was just going to say that
think,
I like.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Bill
Go ahead.
jumping in.
Now everyone wants to talk.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Well, because I think, you know, we're raising issues about, you know, what it's been like for all of our working practices. And I think there has been, like, we've sort of had this quest to like continue with normality, like everything's trying to sort of function as best as it can. And I think it's great, like, while you can sort of embrace that. But I think what's also been quite difficult is that this has had such a huge impact on everyone on like a universal, but also on an individual level. Like we are experiencing like feelings of loneliness, feelings of anxiety. And I think the impact on everyone's mental health has just been like devastating. And so personally, I'm still sort of continuing to look at that aspect and like exploring like anxiety and OCD like through my work. So I'm sort of hoping to like continue that, and I've been sort of trying to be a bit more like vocal about that aspect so that people can kind of start to actually have like, well, I'm trying to embrace that in my own life and like having sort of open, vulnerable conversations, because I think it's the only way that we can sort of feel less lonely at a really difficult time like this.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I just wanted to add, I am currently in Madeira Island in Portugal, and I can see lots of changes here. So Madeira Island is very touristic, and people come here for short periods of time from every part in the world, like especially from the UK, Germany, and some other places in Europe, Italy, for example. But it's only for like 1 week, 2 weeks. And now what is happening is that this tourism is coming in much more less quantities, but for much longer periods of times. So like, for example, I am staying here. I mean, it's already 2 years, but I live in 2 years, sorry, 2 months. But I live in London, and there are areas here where there's already an economy appearing for people that want to stay for a little bit longer in the island, which I found quite interesting, because it's a shift from, which I find positive as well. So it's a shift from polarized economies, like, for example, in big cities like Tokyo or London or other places in the world, to more isolated spaces, because people, I think there's people that are in cities, I think they probably feel that the cities can no longer, or during this pandemic, cannot offer as much as they used to offer. And these offer normally well, now it's online, so you can be a little bit everywhere. So for me, it's very pleasurable to see that these more isolated places are becoming highlighted and used in a different way, enhanced economically in a different way. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. So finally, I would like to ask to Wakabayashi-san again. So, yeah. This 3 years, Wakabayashi-san taking care of the YouFab. So I would like to hearing about what kind of change in this 3 years with YouFab for you?
難しいですね。YouFab ってアワード自体が結構難しいアワードだなっていうふうなことを思ってて、それは一個は要するにデザインとそのアートと多分テクノロジーみたいなものが結構クロスしてるところで。
So YouFab, as I usually say, is a bit tricky to judge because it's a crossroad of science and art and technology.
で、なんだろうな、どういうふうに何をもってグランプリを選ぶかっていうふうなことっていうのが結構クライテリアの設定が難しい。
So it's always hard to set the criteria who to fill and to meet in order to get the grand prize.
ただやっぱりやってて常に面白かったなと思うのはさっきも言ったんですけどそういうことを考えるんだみたいな。
It's always joy to do the judging process because there's a lot of discovery during the process.
新しいなんて言ったらいいんですかね、問いが見つかるというか、それはちゃんと考えてこなかった視点かもなみたいなこととか、それはよく考えてこなかった何かっていうのが
something that I myself hasn't been thought of, but the good questions come up with all those applications, and that was a very enjoyable moment.
で、いわゆるファブって言った時のファブは基本的にはデジタルファブリケーションっていう風なものが基本的には根底にあって、多分アワードがスタートした時もいわゆる 3D プリンターとかそういうものを使って新しいクリエーションをするっていう風なところに最初の当初の意図はあったんだと思うんですけど。
So there's the word fab in YouFab, which is like of course it's digital fabrication. It sort of in the beginning it was sort of the award was there to sort of seek for a good application for those digital fabrication techniques like the 3D printers and the stuff.
で、それの概念っていうのが単に3D プリンター使ってものを作るっていうふうなことだけではなくて、そのファブっていう概念自体が多分どんどん拡張していったっていうふうな。
But that original idea has gradually expanded to include other elements too.
で、そのファブの対象として単純に物っていうことだけじゃなくて、それこそ人の関係性みたいなことだったりとか、コミュニティだったりとか、あるいは制度みたいなものとか、そういうことっていうのが射程に入ってくるっていうことが、僕のやってた、去年とか特にそういう 作品だったと思うんですけど、なんかそういうふうに広がってきてるなと。
And the area or the realm of fabrication has like in the beginning it was only like the stuff like manufacturing the things, but now that there are many applications that includes the target for fabrication is like a society or community or something that doesn't take any form, and then so expand that idea itself has gotten expanded very much.
で、なんかそうやって広がってきたアイディアっていうのが、やっぱり、まあ、特に今年1年のそのコロナによるある種の変動っていうのを受けて、なんて言うんだろうな、まあ、徐々に、なんて言ったらいいのかな、もうその考え方自体がやっぱりもう本当に社会のより、今まではちょっとまだ新しくて終焉的な考え方だったかもしれないものが、どんどんやっぱメインストリームというか、真ん中に入ってきてるっていうふうな気がするんですね。
In a sense that the idea of digital fabrication, in a very narrow sense, has gotten expanded to include many other aspects of our lives, and then now it sort of it used to be a bit of a marginalized area of activities, but now it sort of get aligned with the mainstream thinking or mainstream problem solving, and then digital fabrication has become has started to take center in how people use creativity on.
そうですね。で、まあというわけなので、なんていうのかな、まあ、おそらくその YouFab アワードが体現してきたものっていうのが、なんていうんですかね、まあまたちょっと新しいフェーズに入っていくことになるのかなっていうふうな気はしていて、なので、まあ、来年以降、まあ、本当にそのさらにある種のダイナミックなそのものっていうのはですね、現実世界でもそういうことを見られるようになると思いますし、それを受けて多分そのアワード自体もまた違ったというか、より強いものになってくるかなっていうふうに期待しています。
So the award, YouFab award, has sort of evolved from its original form and takes shape as it is now, and I expect it to evolve further. And then in the course of evolution, there will be more sort of relevant to the actual or a reflection of the actual world, and the world that is constantly changing. And then that's how so I expect YouFab to evolve further.
ですまあ今回ご覧いただいている方はお気づきだと思うんですけど、まあ審査員もその海外の方もいらっしゃるし、まあ受賞された方も海外の方いろいろいて、バックグラウンドが全然いろいろ違う方もいらっしゃって、まあそういう意味でなんていうのかな、貴重なアワードだと思いますんで、まあそういう意味でそのなんていうのかな、世界の中でもっとプレゼンスが上がっていくといいなと思ってます。
As you see from the member of jury judges and also the selected winners, it's very diverse people, and then has lots of people are participating from outside Japan, abroad, and so we have, how do I say, much more sort of relevance or the more powerful presence worldwide. So I think the award's importance itself globally will further evolve in the future.
でまあ、最後にまあ、僕がやってた3年間っていうのは今司会してくださってる石塚千秋っていう人がものすごい情熱込めてこのアワードに取り組んでくださったんで、まあ、審査員 含め多分受賞者の方々含めて石塚さんをはじめスタッフの皆さんのねご尽力っていうのをちょっと一応代表して感謝を申し上げたいと。
I would like to comment special comment on the effort. The Chiaki sitting here has been. I have been the president of the jury for the past 3 years. So all those 3 years, she has put so much dedication to this award with passion, and I'm very appreciative of it. And of course, along with all the other support staff who support this event from different positions. And then I would like to emphasize that borrowing this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Wakabayashi-san. So it's getting close to the end of this talk. So finally, I would like to Toshiya Fukuda-san, the chairman of YouFab, please turn on the camera. Thank you.
はい。
じゃあ最後ちょっと締めの言葉をチェアマンからいただけますでしょうか。
そうですね。締めになるかどうかわからないですけど、まずはスカーレットさんおめでとうございます。
So congratulations, Scarlett, for grand prize.
それから受賞されたそれ以外の皆様もおめでとうございます。
And all the other winners, congratulations.
Sorry, トシヤさん、ちょっとお顔を少しパソコンを上げて。Thank you very much.
大丈夫？
はい、どうぞお願いします。
YouFab が始まって、もう何年も経つんですけど、先ほど若林さんが触れられたように、もともとデジタルファブリケーションっていうのの創世期から、このアワードはスタートしてるわけで。
So this award, YouFab award, has started so many years ago, and then that it started when the term digital publication became popular, or wasn't popular. It was sort of how do I say? Just started.
そうですね。で、やっぱその時はデジタルファブリケーションっていうものの中に存在するクリエイティビティとか未来とかっていうものがまだそんなに分かりやすく見えてなかったっていう意味では迷いの時代も最初のうちありました。
And back then, it was like sort of there was no like clear path set because people saw lots of potential within digital fabrication, but no one was sure about what it would be.
で、だんだん何年かやってきてみんながある種実感し始めたことは、やっぱりテクノロジー進化してコンピューターの中でできるすごいこと、要は例えば、リアルな生活の中である種それを便利にしていくための、コンピューターの中でできるすごいことっていうのが、この10年20年の間にすごく進化したわけですけど。
But in terms of digital publication, it has evolved so much. Before, it was only something that's only possible inside the box of a computer, could sort of take shape and then turn to something that we can use for convenience of our daily lives and stuff. So it has proven that it has so much potential, and then it has affected our lives.
ある種やっぱりそうやってコンピューターの中でできるようになったすごいことっていうのを今度はもう一度世界に戻していくっていうすごいことっていうのがデジタルファブリケーションなんだなっていうふうに気がつき始めたっていうことでもあるんですよね。
So by now that we all have sort of started to realize that digital fabrication has a potential to fabricate something inside the computer, but sort of feed it back, feed them all back to the real world and in a global scale.
で、その戻し方の凄さっていうところが、ある種の面白さっていうふうにも考えつつ、ただ今年、そのコロナっていう問題があって、ある種そのコロナっていう、時代的なイシューっていうことを踏まえて、コンタクトレスっていうテーマ設定によって、その戻す喜び、あるいは戻す力強さみたいなところっていうのに、また違う、そのフィルターがかかることで、結構難しいお題でもあったのかもしれないんですけど、ただ結果的にはたくさんの作品が集まって、大変感謝しています。
So if there was not how to say, if this pandemic didn't happen, then the logical extension to the evolution of digital publication would be to sort of to getting the idea out to the world in a sort of physical ways. But then the pandemic came in, and then now we set the theme for contactless, which sort of was a kind of unexpected spin to that evolution. But we received so many applications, so many works, because we were a bit worried about having much less application. But I'm very thankful that there are so many artists who responded to our call, and I'm very thankful for that.
一つはやっぱりこのYouFabっていうのは、そのデジタルとフィジカルのこの境界、ボーダーに生まれる新しいことっていうのが、やっぱその本質なんだなっていうことと同時に、時代イシュー、変数ですよね。時代変数との掛け算で、どう次の境界線が、またさらにどういう場所でどう面白くなっていくのかっていうことを考えるっていう、そういうアワードでもあるんだなっていうことを、実感するものでも、あったんですよね。
And it kind of reminds me of the nature of YouFab award, which is because digital publication sits somewhere between digital and physical. So it has a sort of how do I say, liquidity or plasticity that could move to address different target in a very flexible way. For example, the pandemic, corona issues and stuff. So that's a digital publication's advantage. It doesn't always sit still in one place. And that's a very good thing.
その意味ではこの先やっぱりテクノロジーもまたどんどん変わっていくだろうし、世の中の考え方もまた変わっていくだろうし、ある種ライフスタイルも変わっていくっていうことも想定されたときに、やっぱり、ある種みんなは、そうやって変わっていく変数と、デジタルとフィジカルの間、そのボーダーをどういうふうに考えるのかっていう、その考え方の、戦いだし面白さっていうところを、またさらに面白がっていただけると、このアワードはまた、面白いものになっていくと思うので、ぜひ、このチャレンジをお願いしたいと思います。
That means that the digital publication, or that method or the concept of digital publication is very, how do I say, agile to adapt to the valuable in our society, and then that's the actual a very interesting things, and then so YouFab award is something that sort of always adapt to the social variables, the result of constantly changing our surroundings and the society. And then it has a flexibility and power to sort of show answers to those issues. And then that's why I think YouFab will stay very relevant and interesting for the years to come.
はい。最後に受賞された皆さんおめでとうございます。受賞された皆さんも参加ありがとうございました。
Again, congratulations to all the winners and people who applied, and then people who are involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, としやさん。 So, thank you for all for coming to the YouFab 2020 award ceremony from all over the world. Thank you also the viewers who watch it now. We look forward to future success of all of the this year award winners. That concludes the YouFab ceremony. Thank you very much and see you next year, YouFab. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
See
岡田さんお疲れ様でした。
you.